Okay, so this was a build around submission for Refurbish and Trash for Treasure as ways to get God-Pharaoh's gift into play a little bit ahead of curve. We've got Faithless Looting and Seasoned Hallowblade as ways to get this card into the bin, so we can then basically reanimate it. And then these also allow us to get other powerful things into play, like Angel of Invention or Elesh Norn, to reanimate with God-Pharaoh's gift. That being said, there's a very real chance that this deck and what it's looking to do isn't powerful enough to be competitive in the format. So I wanted to try it at least once because we haven't played any Trash for Treasure decks on stream since they added it to the format. But, you know, is just making creatures like this good enough in a lot of matchups is the question. You know, there's been a distinct lack of creature-based decks in the format where Elesh and Angel of Intervention kind of struggle to, where Angel Intervention and Elesh Norn will shine. I've got things like Chandra, Awakened Inferno in the sideboard, so against control decks we can pivot into just being kind of like a big Boros deck, but I'm interested to see in one, can we execute our game plan consistently? And two, when we are able to execute that game plan, is that game plan good enough to be worth doing? So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how it goes today. Those are kind of the two questions you have to ask yourself. This is our thing. How often does our thing happen? And then when our thing is happening, how often is our thing good enough to win the game? Yeah, Ichor Wellspring is legal, but I only have 2 copies of Trash for Treasure, so like playing a bunch of a mediocre card to enable a card that's only a 2 of doesn't seem like a very good plan. Yeah, some kind of artifact creature to be able to reanimate as a backup. In fact, I'm just not going to play against Just Guy Control with this deck. I don't think our game plan is likely to be very good here, and I don't really feel like playing against as a big Boros deck against them. Maybe I should cut the Chandras from my sideboard if that's the case, but I like to construct sideboards that way people who pick the deck up might have a chance to range of matchups even if I don't want to play them. But a deck like this just isn't competitive into what Just Guy Control is bringing to the table. Is Platinum Angel the best creature refurbished target in Historic? Probably. We have red and white Gearhulks technically, but neither of those are particularly exciting cards. Huh, maybe I'm supposed to looting on 1 actually, because I could Mindstone into Refurbish on 3. But I'm playing some red-white tokens here, perhaps. Probably some Transmogrifies and Crater Hoofs or Elesh Norns. I'm gonna go ahead and discard the, Trash for Treasure since we have Refurbish rolled up here. Did you really go 6-0 with Yorion Showdown? I mean, like, whatever the numbers are on that page are accurate. You can't manually edit those. Again, I would heavily discourage you from putting weight into looking at the specific records I post with any deck. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to discard the Skyclave and trade that here, basically. Even when we do well, the sample size is small and you shouldn't put weight behind it. I don't just say that because we do bad on occasion and I want you to ignore the fact that our deck had a bad run. Like, it's true of decks that have good runs, too. Yeah, I think I messed up last turn. I should have traded these here. Or traded this here, technically. Yeah, now I don't get the opportunity to. Yeah, it took 5 extra damage I didn't have to take here, basically. More than that. And this is the other question too, right? Like, if is it worth going through the trouble of refurbishing and trash for treasuring this to then reanimate these? Or should I just be playing on burial rates? Is this better than just on burial ratesing these things, right? So we're kind of jumping through this extra layer to, like, reanimate this thing that reanimates creatures, but is that better than just reanimating things directly? Okay, I mean, this hand just needs a way to reanimate, right? Okay. Oh-ho! We're halfway there. Oh-ho! Lizard on a chair will brick on lands and die, I swear. Oh-ho! Ooh! 14 months, Camel. I appreciate the prime. Modern's been fun. If you have sweet modern decks you'd like to see me play, make sure you share them in the subs Discord. I have the price for modern submissions high explicitly so we don't get a ton of them, so that way I can pick out things that I want to play. So if you have something that you think might pique my interest, feel free to tag me there. No guarantees, obviously, but I'm looking for a range of things to play for sure. Crisis control in modern? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, updating JAC's on my short list for sure. Is Elesh Norn good against the tokens deck, chat? Let me know. Let me know what you think. Above average, maybe? Slightly? Reanimating Hasty Elesh was not bad. But again, remember, like, that was a 1, 2, 3, basically 4 card combo we incidentally assembled there. Yeah, I'm largely not taking build-around submissions for Modern because I also haven't played the format enough to know what's good. But, like, hey, Jeff, this deck 5-0 to League. Jeff, this deck top 8'd the Modern Challenge. Like, something that has a little bit of a pedigree behind it to let me know it might be competitive. And, like, obviously, that's not a guaranteed metric. Like, the dumpster fire of a deck we played this morning to start was something that did well in a league, and it was still awful. But, you know, at least gives us a baseline of things to try. We played the new Warp World card this morning. It was not pretty. Yes, it was kind of funny. It was definitely awful. Alright, not attacking into raise the alarm here, obviously. Read him like a book, chat. Like a book. Start here and see what we get. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it up on YouTube anyway, because it was kind of funny. It had some amusing moments, we had some good chats, but... like, my metric for putting something on YouTube isn't only good decks go on YouTube, it's only entertaining sets of games go on YouTube. So it's not like we're suddenly a try-hard stream, and if it's on YouTube, it's competitive. So much as it made it onto YouTube because it was kind of amusing to play. Thanks for the follow, Cold Bear Gaming. And again, like, that's a good example too, right? Like, the opponent's deck is also a red-white deck, cheating an Elesh Norn into play. But is the way they're cheating Elesh into play has a deck building requirement, but is ultimately easier than what we're doing, right? Maze's End isn't competitive enough for Historic, much less Modern. The best God-Pharaoh's gift shell back in Standard, I believe, was like this blue-white mid-range fair deck. If I recall correctly. Thanks for the follow, Crash. Good morning. I think I'm just cracking the clue this turn, and then assuming we brick off, we can go Mind Stone into Flashback Looting next turn. So we've got some God-Pharaoh's gifts in there, but we still don't have any creatures, right? So we're still 2 cards off of doing something meaningful here. We need to find both a way to put God-Pharaoh's gift into play and a creature. Honestly, maybe I'm supposed to keep that second God-Pharaoh's gift and just cast it for 7 mana, huh? And here's some Luminarch Aspirants. They're going to put a real clock on us here with the Spellbinder. Okay. We dumped a Thraben boy in there. Okay, and then we're dead in the air. Need to draw Elesh Norn in 2 draws. I have 3 draws, technically, right? I have a draw step, which we missed on. I have a sacrifice, and then I have a cycle. That's not going to do it, right? An Angel would have also let us survive there for a little bit. Do I want to board in some interactions, or I want to just try and stick on my linear game plan here? Probably want to board it at least Rip Apart, because I'm expecting some Graveyard Hate post board. Well, I guess this is anti-Rest in Peace too, which is nice. Let's trim the Mind Stone Rip Apart and see how it goes. Couldn't I have forced them to block with both counter distributors? No. Discarding a card to Hallowblade taps it. So if I wanted to discard a card to Hallowblade to have something to bring back with my thing from the bin. Well, so like you said, you want more looting and discard outlets than I currently have. What do you want to cut from my deck to play those looting and discard outlets? So do we want to get rid of Skyclave Apparition and be more linear and not have interactive elements? We can give that a try if you'd like. I don't know if that fundamentally solves the core issue that we're having. Could be worth a shot, though. All right, this hand's got all of our pieces, right? We could cut these for Thrill of Discovery. This is like one of the non-core pieces that we have. It's not an artifact, and it's not a great thing to bring back. It's like fine to bring back, but not amazing. Yeah, a lot of the time to beat guides say like 10 to 12 hours, and I finished it in 8. The DLC is supposed to add another 3 hours or so. And this is the other half of this deck, right? Like we have this thing that, like, even when we get it, we have to play through these powerful hate cards post-board, right? The comparison to Indomitable Creativity makes a lot of sense to me. Hey, well, you'll have that mod sword to hang out in chat regardless, Raider Monkey. Hope you're able to find a gig sometime soon. And if you're someone that uses the subs Discord, Raider, feel free to DM me on Discord, and I'll make sure you don't fall out of there while you're looking for a job. I appreciate the 15 months. Oh, you also have that Prime icon next to your name too, though. Remember, Prime gives you a free sub every month too. You don't have to spend your own dollars. You can spend Jeff Bezos' dollars. Jeff Bezos, spending someone else's money, chat, is so much better than spending your own money. Come on back, Combat. Thanks for the 2 years. Welcome back. Speaking of Prime, you know what? I honestly forgot about Twitch Prime. That's a good shout. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'd encourage you, if you don't use your Prime sub somewhere else, don't spend your own money on me, chat. Like, that Prime sub's the exact same to me in terms of support as a $5 sub. So save your $5 and spend Jeff Bezos' money. Yeah, definitely Omega King. How will I be able to get Bezos buddies when he's on the moon? Asking the real question. I mean, the realistic take is like, I mean, lots of people have Prime incidentally for a reason, right? It's super convenient. My 2-day shipping, chat. Why would I want to go to a store? Merchant's kind of mopey and slow. Thrill of Discovery, I think, is the card I'd like to... We occasionally get same-day delivery where I live. Eh. You have to participate in capitalism, chat. There's no going around it. Yeah, but thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate the support. So this is gonna get to fire up next turn, which is sweet. Let's draw a card and see what we find here first. Could find a piece of interaction to clear the Spellbinder out. Noise, noise. Shock this in. Get rid of you. All right, chat, you ready? I try, yeah. All right, Angel of Invention mid-range, kinda good. Kinda decent. They rest in peace us on turn 2 and it didn't matter because my angel here. It was, I forget what I stopped at the gas station In-N-Out store near my house for the first time since getting vaccinated. And it was like kind of a surreal moment where it was like, man, it's been like 15 months since I set foot inside of a store. Thanks for the 2.5 years, Steve. Good afternoon. And then the other flip side reminder of leaving my house is we've been going out and doing more things on occasion. And I currently have a cold for the first time in 18 months, so that's been fun. Old man Swade, thanks for the 21 months. That's can't say I've missed that. Yeah, I should probably make a point to remind people that Prime exists on occasion. There's a reason why most big streamers do that. I've been kind of lazy about remembering that. So for 15 months you did delivery or pickup. Usually for we actually didn't pay for delivery all that often. Things like Hy-Vee and Walmart all did at the door pickup, which was nice. For the tier 1 sub, Danny G. Welcome to the channel. Yikes. Alright, well. Okay, Rip Apart's a nice draw. Thanks to the year and a half, Bean. So one of the really, as someone who reads a lot of literature and stuff surrounding things, I like to try and stay somewhat informed. One of the really neat upsides of, you know, there were lockdowns weren't fun for anyone, but I was reading an article from, I forget where the source was, but they were talking about how they were preparing the flu vaccine for the coming fall. And that because of the lockdowns, a number of strains of the flu had basically just been wiped out. I know, anecdotally, I know a couple of people that work at hospitals, and they've all talked about how their various hospitals have had very little or basically no flu cases that came in over the course of the winter, which was very atypical. I think we're gonna get run down here, chat. And again, like, this is the tough part about playing refurbishes instead of just regular reanimate spells, is like, I've got this Angel of Intervention in my bin, but I can't get her back, right? This only gets back artifacts. And I think a number of people in chat that hit the nail on the head that, like, there's a good chance this archetype really needs, like, a good artifact creature, like a Worm Coil or something like that, to be decent. Jeff, thanks for the 2 months. Welcome back. Am I dead? Yeah, that's lethal, right? Yeah, Platinum Angel's an artifact, but it's like, there's cards, they're just not very good. Mere Battle Sphere, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. All right, let's try and be more linear, because I agree that we're having a hard time shifting through things. Let's put some thrilling discoveries in and cut these Skyclaves. I'm gonna put a couple of the Skyclaves in the board, like 3 of them, because they are good, like, anti-rest in peace cards. We'll trim like a Rip Apart, trim 2 Rip Aparts in a Helix. I don't think the Red Gearhulk's a playable card, especially with the average converted mana cost in our deck. Did I tweak the way you earn shillings at some point? So Twitch streamers don't have any control over the rate at which people acquire channel points. I dictate what it costs for the rewards that you cash in, but Twitch dictates the rate at which you accrue them. What page do I use to build historic decks outside of Arena? I build all of my decks inside of Arena. Outside of the obviously garbage update they did to the sideboard, the visual way Arena lets you build decks by moving things around and laying out your curve, I think is the best way to build decks. And we've talked about this before, but I'm honestly shocked that of the 400,000 various deck editors that exist in various websites, none of them have copied the visual way to build decks that we get. Being able to visualize your curve quickly and easily is a very important part of deck building. Makes it much easier to spot potential issues what you're working on. It's named White. Probably red-white control. I think that deck's a pretty good spot right now. We played a little bit of that on stream last week or the week before. I'm just supposed to cycle this. Thrilling Discovery would have been a good draw here. You run down pretty quickly. We kind of fumble around doing nothing. The only thing I wish Arena would do is count my mana sources. Big agree. Glorybringer kills the Elesh token. Yeah, we're dead. Expecting Graveyard Hate post board, so Rip Apart and some Skyclaves need to come in, I think. Trim some Faithless Lootings if I'm expecting that, I think. They see that much? Maybe. They might not, but like, I'm also not boarding in cards that are like narrow bad answers. Like, Skyclave Apparition and Rip Apart are just good cards to hedge boarding in because they also do things if your opponent doesn't have Graveyard Hate. Okay. Thrilling Discovery looking good here. Gonna ditch Elesh and God-Pharaoh's gift for us. And we just need a way to put them into play. Alright, one trash for treasure, please. And this is the other thing we kind of hinted at earlier, too. You know, we're going to get to put this Elesh Norn into play if we find a way to reanimate. But even if we do that, is she going to be good enough in the matchup, you know? 4/4 Elesh Norns die to Chandra. They die to Glorybringer.
On fire? I know. Yup, you're going down.
Okay. Kill your Planeswalker.
Guess you don't need me anymore.
So, nothing in the bin, unfortunately, but they're also not doing a whole lot. Do you just, like, Skyclave and take them off a piece of mana? I think so, right? So 33 months post check, welcome back. I think I'm happy with how I boarded. Let's run it. My lady got into play chat and she hung out for us and she did wonderful things. You love to see it. Afternoon, Gazni. So the 16 months. Glad nauseum. Welcome back. All right, champ. I feel like I have to tattle on myself because I broke my cardinal rule that I've usually been pretty good about adhering to, and I checked in on my Twitter drama mid-game there because I was curious to see if there had been any follow-up, and much to my not shock, there was crickets. I made what was possibly the mistake of engaging with Ben both sides S. And he has assured me that Democrats and Republicans are the same, so I provided some lovely links to things that show how they vote consistently differently. And I asked him if he could provide a link to some things that show Republicans improving people's lives and Democrats voting against improving people's lives. And he hasn't been able to provide any actual details about bills where that's the case. Which is so strange. I just don't understand. Weird, yeah. Oh no, they're coming for my Mind Stone, chat. Rude. Alright, so we can do this, and I think we do this, then probably just make ourselves clueless here. Billionaires are people and their lives have been improved. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, part of it too is I would bet good money that between MPL and Ben's other sources of income, that Ben probably makes too much money and he didn't see any benefit from the American Rescue Plan. Because the American Rescue Plan did phase out for people above a certain income. So, to be fair to Ben specifically, there probably isn't much of a difference between the policies that have been passed because to him, it's the same. I think takes like that are really unfair, Niv. Like, there's been a number of very specific policy things that the Dems have done that are actively good, and there are also very specific things you can point to that the Republicans have been doing, like the various voter suppression laws going on in states around the country like Florida and Texas and Georgia that are actively harmful to people. It isn't even a theoretical. It's you can point to very specific things and see where one group of people is doing something that's pointedly helpful and good, and the other group of people that is doing things that are actively harmful and destructive. You don't have to engage in stupid theoretical things. Like this isn't a theory. This is in actual real life. This is what's happening. Here's the receipts. And that's where I think so many people get. If we would have put this into play, we might have gotten to do a thing here with this, but I think we're dead here to all of their friends. Fortunately, we missed too many land drops there. Like it's not. Yeah, I agree, Mask. Yeah, look at the votes. Look at the votes. Is basically the TLDR. And like, ideally, you wouldn't even group people into parties, right? You would just look at their individual votes, but it's also very easy to see, hey, the voter suppression law that happened in Texas that went up, every Democrat voted against it and every Republican voted for it. The American Rescue Plan at the national level, every Democrat voted for it and Kamala Harris, the vice president, cast the tie-breaking vote and every Republican voted against it. So in an ideal world, there would be like these various shades of gray where we don't say like all these Republicans suck, but like that's not the world I'm living in. Like I understand reality and I can look at the receipts and see what's actually been happening. I believe the Texas bill was delayed because all of the Democrats in the House there walked out or something like that. And I don't know exactly how Texas passes laws at their state level. I'm not super informed of that, but I believe that one was delayed. But both Florida and Georgia signed their suppression bills into law. That for people that don't follow US politics, things like the Georgia law, for example, makes it illegal to give water to people waiting in line to vote. And you'd say, well, Jeff, why is that a big deal? You shouldn't need a drink while you're waiting in line to vote. There are places in states like Georgia where people have to wait literally double-digit hours on occasion to vote. Like double digits extreme, but like 2, 3, 4 hour voting lines is not an unrealistic thing that happens in parts of the United States. All right, this hand looks great. We're gonna keep this one. We're gonna bottom land. Thanks for the 12 months, dear Jer. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, so we don't have a reanimate in sight, and I don't really have 2 cards I want to discard to the Thrilling Discovery, so I think we lead on the Mind Stone here and just kind of ramp up to our Angel. Huh? Is it crazy to ditch the Hallowblade here? Honestly, I think an hour to vote is a disgrace. You shouldn't have to wait more than like 30 minutes, tippy top. Let's set an arbitrary line. 30 minutes. More than 30 minutes should be unacceptable in a first world country. Yeah, mail-in voting should be the norm. Correct. You should be automatically registered to vote when you turn 18, and they should mail you a ballot every election. I think we just do this to get churn in here. Yikes. This might be a game where we just like cast this for 7, huh? Thanks for the 16 months, Gilly Seagull. Welcome back. Before the pandemic, the states that had universal voting were almost by and large entirely Republican states. The state of Utah, which sends the shitbag Mitt Romney to the Senate constantly, and another Republican senator who's not as prominent as Mitt Romney, so I don't know what the name of that dirtbag is, has universal mail-in voting. Because universal mail-in voting should not be a partisan issue. It only becomes a partisan issue when one party stands to lose control from people voting. Man, our deck full of 7-mana spells is probably not good against Frilled Mystic. Oh, Mike Lee, I do know that name. I didn't know he was Utah. Good to know. All right. 1 God-Pharaoh's Gift, please. I'm sure there's another counterspell in our future. Yes, God-Pharaoh's Gift is also not particularly good against Brazen Borrower. Alright, I'm gonna try and find a non-counterspell matchup. Our matchup against the red-white mid-range deck one kind of okay. counter spells and brazen borrowers and stuff. Let's put ourselves deep down into the meme category. To the people that are new, I would apologize for getting political for a moment, but I'm not sorry. we talk about all sorts of things here. We talk about magic. We talk about my kids, my family. We talk about politics. We talk about food. So, you know, no topics are fully off limits. Almost got me there. And remember, I'm going to go ahead and move off of this topic for now. But remember, if you want to chat politics with Hoaglandia 24/7 and lots of other great things, check out the Discord server. We've got a politics channel there, as well as magic and, you know, Pokemon Go and all sorts of other great stuff to have conversations with. Snow-covered schwamp, eh? Thanks for the bits, Evan. I mean, if I didn't want to play something, Evan, I'd be done. Like, I don't think our deck can do well against counter spells, but I don't think we need to move off it entirely. Like, something like this might be okay. Oh, John Oliver talking about Texas? Last Week Tonight is great, if you haven't watched that before. They'd probably take our Faithless Looting, right? Because, like, looting Elesh implies I want Elesh in the bin, I would assume. Yeah, and this gets rid of 2 extra discard spells. Ooh, okay. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. Take a chance on me. So both Trash for Treasure and Refurbish are live draws next turn. What's the cost for deck building advice? I'd love to chat about the decks that you're working on. Feel free to pop into the subs Discord server and tag me in there in a post, and I'll take a peek after I'm off stream. Alright, wheel. Spawn of Mayhem is not going to give us a lot of time to miss here, chat. So if you're not familiar, Discord lets you group servers. It's a very handy tool. I have like, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 top level Discord servers and then like another 20 in little groups. Yeah, it's the blue crown in Hoaglandia. Yep. And again, just like, imagine this is Unburial Rites, right? And this would have gotten to get into play last turn. Alright, so Skyclave Apparitions and some Helixes, a little bit of cheap interaction sounds good. Probably don't want to ramp with Mind Stone. What Graveyard Hate I expect from them? Maybe we trim some lootings. Usually I like to trim looting when I'm expecting Graveyard Hate because looting is card disadvantage. And if you don't get to flash it back, you really don't get value out of it. Okay. Even if they discard a Hallowblade, we have Thrilling Discovery to get churning. And I think we probably block and, like, ditch a land to trade with the Dread Wanderer. It's unfortunate. Discarding a card taps this, so I can't discard the Thrilling Discovery proactively. I mean, if you're willing to concede to Jeskai control, there's a lot of decks that are a lot of fun in this format. It's that deck is just like the definition of the fun police, though. Which is why I almost assuredly have a bias against it. Got him. Ah. So they're gonna get to trade Dread Wanderer for Hallowblade here. I think I discard God-Pharaoh's gift, right? So that way if we draw a reanimate spell, we can use it. I don't think I want to cash the Nexus in because the Nexus is an... Oh, wait, they're making me discard? Deal. Because the Nexus is a artifact if I draw trash for treasure. There really isn't a deck that always dumpsters Jeskai control, especially the variations of Jeskai that are playing Gearhulk Magma Opus. Gearhulk Magma Opus is such a good proactive game plan they get to execute that you can't really build your deck just to beat them because they can race any of the cards that are really good against them. You're like, oh, Shifting Ceratops or Chandra are fine, but, like, they just race your Chandra emblems by, like, gear hulking back an Opus and hitting you. The Kira creatureless builds of control are much easier to attack than the Opus builds are. And the Opus builds especially, too, like, normally you can try and get under control decks, but between Lightning Helix and either Opus flashing back with Mizzix Mastery or Opus ramping you into a turn 3 Wrath of God, even that's not a very reasonable approach a lot of the time. And has a lot of permutations of Rankle ability they can use here. I know Eldraine gets a lot of crap because a lot of its designs are a little bit too strong, but, like, Rankle is such a sweet card. Like, the design on this card is so stellar. Absolutely love it. They must have a second Rankle, right? Third Rankle? In terms of format power level, you see that Magma Opus is overperformed. I definitely don't think... Thank you, oldest son.
Wait.
He brought me food. Because I ran out of snacks and I forgot to prepare more. Thank you, Jakey Wakey. Find some food on my own next time. Okay, I'll try and remember. I'll remember that next time you need something. For those of you that didn't catch that out, he told me that next time I should check and make sure I have snacks before I go to work. Which, he's not wrong, but also, like, you know, I have minions, so, like... Do we have too many lands? I don't think so. 2 of our lands are utility lands / artifacts for Blinkmoth Nexus. And we have Faithless Looting and Thrill of Discovery to discard extra lands. Alright, I'm gonna give this one more try at least, but it's been a rough set. God-Pharaoh's Gift does not seem like it's particularly competitive for Historic. The modern deck was an amusing dumpster fire. The first historic deck was really funny. We played emergency powers with Smothering Tithe, and it was really reasonable. We played for over 2 hours. This one's been kind of middling. But I think you had all be winners. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Oh, we played against something like this before, right? They're an endless counterspell deck. I'm gonna find some not blue islands for our last match. Some not islands. Probably Brazen Borrowers over there too that are also very good against us. I guess. Let's draw a Discovery or a Faithless Looting. Okay. Okay, we're cooking with gas. That's great, Skyzos. Yeah, Umbreon's such a beast. So, we're being out memed, chat. Oh, I should have. I punted. I didn't realize what they were playing. I didn't stop to click. I didn't stop to click on their jank, chat. I gave them a counter for free. Sorry, to comment on Cavern of Souls. I think Cavern of Souls would be an atrocious addition to Historic. Adding Cavern of Souls because Wizards mistakenly made Memory Lapse legal in this format would be an escalation as opposed to a de-escalation. Cards like Cavern of Souls suck, and cards like Memory Lapse also sucking doesn't mean that you should play this other card instead. Like, Memory Lapse likely just shouldn't be legal in this format. It's both too good and miserable to play against. Man, if this thing was a 5/5, we'd be in a much better spot, believe it or not. Oh, and it's getting bigger too, because I'm discarding a card. Yeah, we're just dead. And this is part of the problem, right? Like, we talked about, there's two big questions that this deck needs to be able to ask itself. Is one, how consistently can we do our thing? And two, when we do our thing, is it good enough? And that was a good example of we did our thing, but it wasn't good enough, right? You're right that Memory Lapse largely doesn't offer counterplay, but I'd much rather see Memory Lapse be banned than Veil of Summer or Cavern of Souls be put into the format. Chat, it wasn't just about being dead that turn. Their Haunt of the High Tower was going to continue getting larger, outpacing my thing. So you're right, I wasn't dead the next turn, but I didn't have cards that allow me to get back into the game. I mean, it's an arms race a lot of people want. There are a lot of people that their opinions are they just want Historic to be Modern/Legacy Light, and they want all the busted cards from those formats to be in all these things. I don't think it's at all reasonable to mention that Burning Tree Emissary is too good for this format. Nothing indicates that that's the case. Burning Tree Emissary creates some explosive starts, but like, you know, so do those play sweepers. There's plenty of counterplay to Burning Tree Emissary. Rakdos Arcanist was like only ever barely playable, and the added consistency that blue decks got from Brainstorm and Expressive Iteration just mean that playing a super fair deck without blue in it right now isn't a good choice in this format. Well, are we at a point where I'm just discarding Refurbish because we're going to cast our spells? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Alright, well. Anguish. That one. Make a friend. God bless Grixis, by the way, chat. Gives us glimmers of hope that maybe what we're doing is okay. Yeah, we're on the last match with this one, Tasty. It is rad. My schedule is three decks per day, ending Magic sometime between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. I'm happy with how we boarded. So, there actually won't be a Meta Monday video this week, and maybe I don't know that I want to post a video saying that. I'll have to post something on Twitter, maybe a YouTube post too, but there wasn't enough historic events over the weekend to say anything reasonable for Meta Monday. I don't feel like I have anything to say that I didn't already say in my top 5 video over the weekend, where I talked about other cards that I would ban instead of Time Warp. Or in addition to, you know, I would take that as well. Oh, Stifle. I was like, right, Stifle. Guess we ditch the trash for treasure since we have Refurbish. Alright, they have a 5-drop on turn 2. We at least get a song. I've actually got a bit of a cold right now, so singing's a bit difficult. Not that I'm ever particularly great at it.
You wanna go, tough guy?
You wanna go, tough guy?
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Are they missing a 3rd land? No? Sure. I think we're just flashing back looting, trying to get to a God-Pharaoh's gift for next turn. Yikes.
Nobody tells me what to do. Oh, today's my lucky day.
The old languish your Thraben Inspectors. Well. I think I'm just cracking a clue this turn.
Yup, you're going down.
Act of Negation. It's a spicy one. The last 3 turns have looked like Arena Cube. You are not wrong. All right. Norn appears to be doing a whole lot of nothing. Bodes well for the home team. Yep. To glory be. Gets to eat my token here. We're still winning this race. We've got another token in the bin. Oh, there is Thraben Inspector in the bin, I suppose. Oh gosh, K-Command would have been brutal. It's pretty nice. You got her. She's dead. Bold strategy, Cotton. Oh, man, it's going to pay off for him. Read. Uh-oh. Oh, that's very wrong. They should definitely wait until this trigger happens, because now I have a chance to, get a different friend into the bin here. Oh, I should have left red mana available. Oh wait, was this lethal? That's fine. We want the fancy God-Pharaoh's lethal, right? I don't want some plebeian Blinkmoth Nexus lethal, chat. I want fancy hasty 4/4 lethal. Alright, get to end on a high note at least. Shout-outs to Grixis for letting our pile finish on a high note. I'd like to dedicate this wrap up to Grixis. So, when we started this set, I said there were 2 questions we needed to answer, and I feel like I have kind of disappointing answers to both. So the first was, how consistent could our deck be? How often could we assemble the thing that we were looking to do? And the answer was, it had a lot of moving parts. So like, you have to have God-Pharaoh's Gift, and we don't have any way to tutor this card. You just have to like have it naturally. We have to have a way to get this into the bin. We have to have a way to get it out of the bin, and we also have to have a thing for this to pick something up out of the bin after the case. Now, assume that all that comes together, there were still a bunch of games where everything kind of worked out for us in our favor, but we still were unable to win the game because what we were doing ultimately just didn't quite feel powerful enough. I feel like just using Unburial Rites or Indomitable Creativity / Transmogrify is probably the better direction to go in if you're looking to cheat something like an Elesh into play. Yeah, it's a lot of work for just generating some 4/4s. I think it could potentially be worth revisiting this archetype in the future if we got something like Mere Battlesphere or Wormcoil Engine, some kind of big artifact bomb that's good to cheat into play. So that way we could like play 8 reanimate effects and then also have, 8 to 10 things worth bringing back. And like, we have like Combustible Gear Hulk and, Platinum Angel in this format, but those really just aren't very good, especially in the dynamic of the current format we're playing in of a very controlling metagame. Like, Platinum Angel is like okay against creature decks that play to the board and can't interact with it, but that's definitely pretty far from the average of what you're playing against in Historic at the moment, I think, so. A little bit of a miss overall, but maybe something to revisit in the future as Historic's card pool grows a little bit deeper for us. Alright, at any rate, that's going to wrap on Magic for today. If you missed our deck before this, we played Smothering Storm, and there's going to be over 2 hours of this up on YouTube this evening. And I will be back tomorrow morning with some more Modern, followed by some more Historic afterwards. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel for more stuff from that. For the rest of today, we finished the main storyline in Control yesterday, so we'll be starting